presents the National Football League. From Memorial Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina, the 2-0 St. Louis Rams take on the 0-2 Carolina Panthers. Good afternoon, everybody. Kenny Albert with Anthony Munoz on this historic day in Clemson, South Carolina. The home opener for the expansion Carolina Panthers. Anthony, the Panthers come in 0-2, road losses in Atlanta and Buffalo, and their main objective today is to put together two good halves of football.
As the Panthers look to be successful, they have to focus on their offense. As we talked to Frank Reich, he mentioned that we have to eliminate mental mistakes. Not only eliminate those mistakes, but we also have to convert on third downs. Last week against the Bills, 2 for 17. That will not get it. Also, as an offense, you cannot afford to get the ball 3 times inside the opponent's 25, as they did last week, and come away with 6 points.
Now, on the other side of the field, the St. Louis Rams, under new head coach Rich Brooks, off to a 2-0 start. A credit to their revamped running game and the fact that they have not yet turned the ball over.
Similar to the Panthers, their offense has to be successful for them to be successful today. Their first week against the Packers, they rushed for 54 yards. Week 2 against the Saints, it was 151 yards, 107 of those yards in the first half. You know they'll look to number 42, Leonard Russell, number 36, Jerome Bettis, a pair of 240-pound running backs to do the job today.
And we will look towards the opening kickoff in just a couple of minutes from Clemson, South Carolina. The Rams and the Panthers when Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages from your local Fox station. Todd Kinchin, 81, and 18, Johnny Thomas. The kickoff from John Casey. Thomas 5 yards deep in the end zone. So Chris Miller will lead the St. Louis Rams offense onto the field. Miller, the only starting quarterback in the NFC who has not yet thrown an interception. The men who will protect Chris Miller: Gandy, Goez, Brostek, White, and Ashmore. The running back is Jerome Bettis, Barf Cook, the H-back, Alexander Wright, and Isaac Bruce with a touchdown each of the first 2 games. The tight end is Troy Clayton. First and 10 for the Rams from the 20. On the end around, Alexander Wright bobbled the ball and then gains the first down and more. Coach Rich Brooks loves the trickery, Anthony.
Well, we saw it last week, and we see it once again in the opening play. Not afraid to give the wide receivers not only a chance downfield to catch the ball, but to give them a chance in the handoff, a 17-yard gain. You see the nice fake, and Alexander Wright coming around. Nice block by Leo Goez. Always nice to have one of those big offensive linemen out in front, as he did right there.
First down for the Rams up on the 37-yard line. Bettis the lone back. Bruce in motion. Jerome Bettis. Bettis gains 2 yards. Greg Fragan in on the stop. Fragan joined by Williams and Fox. The Panthers, the only NFC team playing a 3-4 defense. The linebackers, Connor, Bailey, Mills, and Lathan, who was questionable with a shoulder injury. Smith, Maxey, McDowell, and 10-year veteran Tim McKyer, the ex-49er. Second down and 8 from the 40. Miller swings it out. Jerome Bettis up to the 45-yard line, gain of 5, so it will be third down and 3. Carlton Bailey made the stop along with Rod Smith.
Kenny, one of the things we can look for this Ram offense to do is we talked to Chris Miller. He said with the veterans the Panthers have on defense, with their scheme, we have to get the ball outside. We have to run the football outside, and right there they threw a nice swing pass to Jerome Bettis. Also, they felt they have to work on Tim McKyer. He's a guy they feel that they can go down and pick on him a little bit. So that'd be interesting to see what they do with him.
And it is third down and 2. 3 wide receivers for the Rams. Miller to the air once again. The pass intended for Jesse Hester. And the Rams will be forced to punt.
You know, it's interesting. We talked about what the Panthers had to do, and that was convert on third down. And right here, the first drive for the Rams, the Panthers do an excellent job stopping the Rams on third down. I mentioned the veterans on this Panther defense, and they have a lot of veterans, guys that have been in Pro Bowls and Super Bowls, you know, anywhere from 5 to 10 years in the league.
Sean Landeta from his own 30-yard line with Eric Gulliford in single safety. Gulliford lets it go, and Mike Scurlock downs the ball inside the 5-yard line. 50-yard punt by Landeta.
It's just like a dream you can hold in.
And just had a chance to check out their practice fields, the football team, Little John Arena, where the basketball teams play, men and women. It was really nice.
And the Carolina Panthers do not train here. They train up in Charlotte. Frank Reich, the quarterback, first down. The Panthers from their own 5. They have 3 wide receivers. The lone back is Bob Christian. And the pass is complete. Mark Carrier gains 8 up to the 12-yard line. Frank Reich, who said this past week was very humbling after the 31-9 loss in Buffalo, where he spent his first 10 years. Brockermeyer and Peterson, both rookies. Whitley Elliott and the former Kansas City Chief Derek Graham. Derek Moore gets the start. Bob Christian, Green and Carrier, the tight end, the former Bill, Pete Metzeler. Here's Derek Moore. He has the first down. Shane Conlon made the stop. The Rams defense has played very well over the first 2 weeks. The all-pro Sean Gilbert, second-year man DeMarco Farr, Jimmy Jones, and #1 draft pick Kevin Carter, Pfeiffer, Conlon, and Jenkins, who is questionable. Jenkins suffered an injured foot last week. Parker, Lyle, Wright, and Light, both safeties in their second season. First down for the Panthers. Another first down. It's Willie Green. Green with 7 receptions in the opener in Atlanta. Did not catch a pass last week, but he is back in form here in the first quarter.
Well, after that first week, you see right here, Willie Green going one-on-one with Anthony Parker, and I'm sure Frank Reich is feeling more and more comfortable with Willie Green, his wide receiver, as he hits him on that one.
Reich last week, 6 of 21. He has completed his first 2 pass attempts today. Reich on first down. The give is to Bob Christian, the fullback, the former Chicago Bear. Christian gains 4.
You know, it's interesting, as I mentioned in the opening, we talked to Frank Reich, and one of the things he said they as an offense had to do is correct the mental mistakes. You know, as a football player, there's times when you're going to get beat physically, but the coach, he hates when you make a mental mistake, because that's what you have to do all week preparing for a football game. Get your nose in the playbook, watch the tape, and know exactly what's going to happen on Sunday afternoon.
And the Panthers already with 2 first downs on this opening drive. It's now 2nd and 6. Good defensive play by Anthony Parker. So it will be 3rd down and 6.
Well, once again, they go Willie Green on Anthony Parker, the cornerback. He completed it the first time, so he says we're going to go right back. But Anthony Parker turns his hip to the outside, and he starts to go backwards, but he has a great reaction in going to the football and knocks it down.
Parker, the former Minnesota Viking. 3rd and 6. Panthers only 17% on 3rd down. Gulliford in motion. Movement on the line, and flags thrown by the officials.
You have a veteran quarterback in Frank Reich, who with his count can make that defense jump, and we'll listen to it right now, just what he does.
For the snap, false start, number 86, 5 yards. This is still 3rd down.
As we listen, great job by the audio folks down on the field. Frank Reich did a super job with the count, but his wide receiver Moves early.
Yes, he fooled Willie Green.
That's not supposed to happen. You saw there DeMarco Farr and Kevin Carter coming across the line of scrimmage. Like you said, the offensive guys have to wait.
Head coach Don Capers looking on. 3rd down and 11. 4 wide receivers set. Right over the top, Vince Workman. Not enough for the first down.
That play there gets them a first down if they do not lose the 5 yards on the motion. We talk mental mistakes. That's what a mental mistake is. When you don't have the concentration, you don't have the focus, and your quarterback makes the defense jump, but you lose 5 because one of your players jumped. That's a mental mistake.
And Todd Kinchin is back deep. Awaits the Tommy Barnhart punt. Barnhart last week, 5 punts inside the 20. That is his specialty. Not this time. Takes a Rams bounce. St. Louis will start out in terrific field position after the 28-yard punt by Barnhart.
Exchange of the ball here.
Many of these fans drove 2, 3, 4 hours from the Charlotte area and really all over North Carolina, South Carolina to attend this home opener. The Carolina Panthers and the St. Louis Rams. Rams off to their best start since 1991. They have won their first 2 games. Rams 1st and 10 from their own 37. Play action pass, and it's Bettis, but he was unable to hold on. Well, Anthony, earlier this week, longtime Clemson Tigers coach Frank Howard stopped by to wish the Panthers luck.
This is Howard's rock. I've been rubbing that rock for the last 30 years. It's given me a lot of good luck. I hope it'll do the same today for these Panthers. And I want everybody to stand up and holler, "Go Panthers!"
On 2nd down, Bettis around right guard gains 3 yards. So it will be 3rd down and long. Anthony, did you have a chance to go rub Howard's rock prior to the ball game?
Well, no, I thought maybe our whole crew could kind of go up to the top of the hill, rub the rock, and then we could run into the booth and they could run into the truck. But they have it all locked up.
Yes, under lock and key. The Clemson players rub the rock and then run down that hill prior to the kickoff before all of their home games. 3rd down and 7. Miller under pressure. Keeps it himself. Not enough for the first down. He was hit by Brett Maxey, who lost his helmet. Mike Fox as well in on the stop. So the Rams will punt once again after the 6-yard gain by Miller.
Number 57 was Lamar Lathan, who flushed Chris Miller from back there. A nice pass rush going against Darrell Ashmore. Right there you see Brett Maxey without a helmet. You see Lamar Lathan, who during the week had a sore shoulder. Didn't practice a whole lot in pads, but he told Coach Dom Capers, "I'll be ready on Sunday," and he was ready right there on that play.
And Eric Gulliford is ready to receive Sean Landetta's second punt. His first, one for 50 yards. Bad stop. Landetta gets it off end over end. And Gulliford avoids the attempted tackle by Toby Wright. Gain 7 following the 34-yard punt.
Slept all the way here on the flight, feeling a lot better today.
The oldest active Ram, Sean Landetta. On first down, Christian cuts left. Good second effort, gains 4 yards.
Christian's a running back who has super hands coming out of the backfield. Frank Reich, as we've spoken to him the last 2 weeks, feels very comfortable with hitting Bob Christian coming out of backfield right there. He gives him the ball, gives him a chance to gain a few yards on the ground rushing the football.
First name Missouri native facing the St. Louis Rams for the first time. Reich on 2nd and 7. The pass was a bit behind. The tight end Pete Metzelaar is incomplete. So once again it will be 3rd down and long. Tom Capers very unhappy about the Panthers' success rate on 3rd downs over the first 2 weeks, just 17%. Last week against Buffalo, they gained only 6 first downs in the entire game.
And today, a key for them to be successful is going to be the left side of that offensive line, especially Andrew Peterson, the rookie from Washington, going against his former teammate, DeMarco Farr, who has 3 sacks coming into this game.
4 wide receivers on 3rd and 7. Right under pressure, lets it go, and it is incomplete, intended for Eric Gulliford. Todd Light on the coverage. And right now for a McDonald's game break, let's head back to our Hollywood studios and James Brown. James?
All right, Kenny, the Saints look impressive on their opening drive. 3rd and 1 from their own 30. Jim Everett pumps once, finds Quinn early, who blows by the secondary. 70-yard touchdown reception, the longest of his career. 3rd time this season the Falcons have given up an opening drive touchdown. Let's take it back to Kenny and Anthony.
Tommy Barnhart back to punt. Todd Pinchin, single safety. Pinchin from the 18-yard line. 9-yard return. After the 51-yard punt, Chad Cota made the stop, the rookie out of Oregon. The special teams guru on the Carolina Panthers, who played for Rams coach Rich Brooks in college at the University of Oregon.
He's one of those guys. They just have a totally different mindset when they get out there and they're covering punts, covering kickoffs. No regard for their body. They're just going to go down there. If they have to run through people, they'll run through people, but they're smart enough to go around people at times.
And Cody takes a seat on the Panthers sidelines as the first defensive unit comes out. 1st and 10 for the Rams from the 27. High formation. The pitch back goes to Bettis. Good hold up to the 35. He fumbles. The Rams say they have it. Panthers say it's our possession. It is St. Louis Rams football after the 8-yard gain by Jerome Bettis.
As we look at the Ram offense, they line up Marv Cook in the fullback position. And you see number 67, Dwayne White, out in front, leading the way, trying to get the football outside. And it's Brett Maxey who comes up, and he puts a nice shoulder into the football, forces a fumble, and luckily the Rams recover it.
That was the Rams' first fumble this season. They have not yet turned the ball over. 2nd down and 3. Once again, it's Bettis. This time, nowhere to go. Pulled down by Darian Connor, the former Atlanta Falcon and New Orleans Saint.
Once again, they line up number 47, Marv Cook, in the backfield, who's that H-back that they call, a guy that combines catching the football with his blocking abilities. They talk about the H-back, as you see Darian Connor. Right here we see Marv Cook. They say he's an H-back. The elements of an H-back, he has to be able to catch the football. He has to be able to be a lead blocker. And sometimes he's going to line up on the line of scrimmage, getting a 3-point, and be called on to block an outside backer one-on-one.
2-time Pro Bowl tight end with New England. Flags on 3rd and 2.
It was hard not to see number 70, Wayne Gandy, who started his pull.
Number 70, 5 yards. It's still 3rd down.
He got that 290 pounds going right here. He's pulling to his right, but a little bit too early. He's rocking back. Nice drop step. Gets the hips going to the right. But it's all happened before the ball was snapped.
Gandy coming off a terrific effort against the Saints last week. Went up against Ronaldo Turnbull, did not allow a tackle or a sack. 3rd down and 8 following the penalty. Flag throw to the backfield as Miller lobs one up, looking for Bruce. And it is broken up by Rod Smith. But a penalty flag was thrown. It's holding on the Rams.
Chris Miller had plenty of time to throw the football. He looked, and all of a sudden he brings it down. As we see the penalty flag on the field, it was holding.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Number 61 of the offense. Penalty is declined. 4th
That's
down.
a center, Vern Brostek. 6-year, right here you see him, the center. Gets called for face or hand in the face, going against Sean. You see the hand going right to the face. You cannot do that going against Sean Price or number 92.
And that is 3rd punt of the 1st quarter. Handled by Gulliford at the 22-yard line. Flags behind the play as Gulliford is driven out of bounds. 48-yard punt, 11-yard return, but it may be called back.
The Rams on the field pointing towards the Panthers. Usually on a run back like that, you either get a block behind the back or a clip. Someone lost their hat there. Better get that on. He's going to get a little sunburn.
During the run back, illegal block from behind. Number 37 of the receiving team. 10 yards. It'll be 1st down.
Chad Cota. We talked about Chad Cota and his play. You see him right here, number 37, as he tries to make the block on J.T. Thomas, number 18, but he catches him from behind and he draws a flag.
It's just like a
Gilbert for the 3rd week. Another all-pro defensive end that he'll be blocking today.
1st and 10 from the 15. Right. Swings it out. Looking for Howard Griffith. And it will be 2nd down and 10. Well, Brockemeyer over his first 2 weeks in the National Football League faced a guy named Chris Dillman week 1, Bruce Smith week 2. Welcome to the NFL.
In a hurry. Right there you see all the Pro Bowls, 6, 7, and 1. My math is correct. 14 Pro Bowls. First week he had a tough time. Last week against Bruce Smith, they gave him plenty of help, and he did a pretty good job.
Flags on the play as Griffith takes the handoff from Wright.
Kevin Carter, I believe, number 93 of the Rams, jumped across the line of scrimmage.
Offside. Number 93 of the defense. 5 yards. Repeat, 2nd down.
And you might see that quite a bit today with 2 veteran quarterbacks that can work that count in their advantage. This time, Frank Reich using the count. This is really the 2nd time so far in the 1st quarter. Of course, the 1st time, wide receiver moved before the defense came across.
Getting back to Brockemeyer, we asked him about the matchup with Gilbert today. He said, well, here we go again. 2nd down and 5. Metzelars in motion. Jared Moore finds a hole. Powers his way across the 25-yard line. And it looks as if he has the 1st down.
Kenny, on that play, we had right here Peterson and Brockemeyer doubling the defensive tackle, and they let Sean Gilbert to Metzelars. You see right there, nice double team coming off the block, making that play possible. So not always is he man-on-man on the defensive end. Sometimes he's doubling up with his guard.
Right to the air on 1st down, incomplete. Once again, intended for Griffith. Anthony, we saw Blake Brockermeyer's first 3 opponents. What about rookie Anthony Munoz back in 1980?
Well, I remember it quite well. My opening game against a guy that was just inducted into the Hall of Fame, Leroy Selman, A.J. Dewey, who played a lot of years for the Dolphins, and then one of those Steel Curtain members, Dwight White. Remember it well.
It got easier week, too, right? You went from 5 career Pro Bowls to just 1.
Yeah, just in Pro Bowls it got easier. Talent-wise, maybe a little bit easier.
Second down and 10. Reich with 4 consecutive incompletions. He's under pressure. Carter got a hand on Reich. He was able to get the pass away, and it was short, intended for Mark Carrier. So good pressure from the first defensive play selected in the draft, Kevin Carter, out of Florida.
Once again, we'll watch Brockermeyer against Gilbert right up here on the top of the screen. He gives him a nice pop, redirects Sean Gilbert, and then as a changeup, he cuts him. That's a thing that really will slow down a defensive lineman, because next time he has a tendency to watch for that offensive lineman to go down on his legs. Defensive linemen do not like that part of the football game.
As you know firsthand.
Exactly.
Third down and 10 for Carolina receiver. Right over the middle. The pass is complete. Close to the first down. Eric Gulliford makes the catch.
Kenny, I talked about defensive linemen not liking to be cut. Again, right here, Blake Brockermeyer, you see Sean Gilbert not going full speed. Blake says, well, if he's not going full speed, I'm going to take advantage of that. Once again, he cuts him. And like I said, that is one of the things that they just don't dislike it. They hate offensive linemen down at their legs.
Anthony, that reception by Gulliford, only the second of his 3-year career. The first, that 45-yard Hail Mary, Minnesota against Green Bay 2 years ago. So Gulliford picks up the first down, and Griffith is stopped. No gain on the play. Jimmy Jones, the former Dallas Cowboy, coming together with Howard Griffith.
Not only is it Brockermeyer facing his 3rd Pro Bowler in a week, but this offensive line for the Panthers, who they don't have a lot of experience other than Derek Graham at the right tackle, once again facing an excellent defense. The front 7 of this Rams football team might be one of the best in the NFL.
9 sacks first 2 games. On 2nd and 9, right. Complete once again. This time it's Carrier. He gains about 9 yards. Carrier, last week, picked up his 400th career reception against the Buffalo Bills. It will be 3rd down and short. 3rd and about 1. Panthers moving the ball well this drive on their own 45-yard line.
Moving the ball well, but one thing I've noticed, Frank Reich is not getting back there and having time to look around. He gets back there, and he's got to get rid of the ball. Rams are putting pressure on him.
Reich on 3rd and 1, hands it off. Derek Moore looks to go over the top, and he was stopped short. Well, the fans here in Clemson chanting, go for it, but Dom Capers sends out the punching unit with Tommy Barnhart. He has made some decisions that the fans have loved over the first few weeks. They'll fall in love with Capers if he continues to go for 2, as he did 2 weeks ago in Atlanta with just seconds remaining, although it was nullified by penalty.
Really didn't hesitate to go for 2. I mean, he knew he was going right away.
Todd Kinchin from the 18-yard line. Works his way up to the 25. 36-yard punt by Barnhart. Well, Anthony, critics called it suspenseful, exhilarating, and terrifying. Get ready, we're just 5 days away from the season premiere of the program that's become more than just a television show. It's a national phenomenon. The X-Files, Friday at 9, 8 Central on Fox.
Mysterious. You think even more than The Rock?
Well, I'm not so sure. The X-Files not under lock and key.
Well, I'm gonna give The Rock #1 on that.
I'll second that. Final half minute of this first quarter. Jerome Bettis, 2-yard gain. Jerome Bettis on the day, 5 carries, 16 yards. Rams went to the 2-back offense last week. against the New Orleans Saints, but here today it's been primarily Bettis. Leonard Russell has not yet carried the ball in the first quarter.
So far, like you said, Bettis in the backfield. They've been lining up Marv Cook as the fullback when they do have two in the backfield. Leonard Russell, I'm sure we'll see some playing time today.
And that will do it for the first quarter from Memorial Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina. It's the St. Louis Rams nothing, the Carolina Panthers nothing.
Don't panic.
It taught me a lot about, I was willing to come down and do something with the offensive line.
Now here we go. Who is this guy wearing the Carolina Panthers hat?
Well, I have it turned backwards. I'm already in the coaching mode there. Didn't take me long to, usually when you're wearing a hat, you just wear it regularly. But, I see a lot of coaches that turn that bill backwards. And I thought, heck, since I'm down here doing a little coach, I might as well do that.
Not wearing the hat today.
No, not at all.
Second down and 7. Miller rolling left, and the pass is complete. Isaac Bruce breaks the tackle across the 40-yard line down to the 35. A gain of 38 yards for the wide receiver, Isaac Bruce, one of the emerging stars on this Rams squad.
An emerging star and a guy that Chris Miller is saying he is my go-to guy. Right there, he turns Rod Smith around. And all of a sudden, Brent Maxey's picking him up on the zone there, but he does not make the tackle. He's coming over late, and he's got to wrap him up and make the tackle, which he doesn't do. And Isaac Bruce makes an excellent run after the catch.
Longest pass play from scrimmage this season for the Rams. From the Panthers, 36. Play action. Miller finds Bruce again, but it is incomplete.
They're giving him the reception, Kenny. They're giving it to him, a one-handed catch by Isaac Bruce. It appeared that it was incomplete. But right here you see him in the backfield this time. It's just amazing. He comes out, and it did appear that it was incomplete. He turns, circle, and he comes up with one hand, makes a great catch. And just a pleasant to talk to as we did yesterday. Got one foot in, he gets the other foot in before he goes out of bounds. Not only a super catch, but he does a tremendous job keeping his feet in.
The pitch back to Jerome Bettis. Bettis across the 5-yard line, down to the 3.
This is exactly what they wanted to do coming into this football game. Give the ball to Jerome Bettis or give it to Leonard Russell. So far it's been Jerome Bettis. And try to get the ball outside. If we can stop it right there, you see Marv Cook makes a nice lead block to lead the way for Jerome Bettis, who almost takes it in for a touchdown.
So Isaac Bruce gains 58 yards on 2 consecutive receptions and then 13 on the ground for Bettis. The Rams without a rushing touchdown this season. First and goal on the 2. Bettis in for the touchdown. Rich Brooks and the Rams off to a 6-0 lead. The Rams' first rushing touchdown this season and the first trip to the end zone in '95 for Bettis.
You see the offensive line of the Rams coming off, engaging to the defensive players. They didn't get a lot of movement, but enough to allow Bettis to submarine and score the touchdown. First of the season.
Mark Rippon, the holder, and Steve McLaughlin with the point after attempt. It is good, and the Rams lead the Panthers 7-0. Back from Clemson right after this 2-yard touchdown run. Jerome Bettis, 2 receptions, 58 yards. The key plays during the touchdown drive as the Rams take the lead.
Been very active so far in this game, getting a little cool breeze from the team right behind him. I think we might have to ask him if we can get a little of that breeze up in this box.
Yes, we wouldn't mind that at all. Here's Randy Baldwin. Baldwin, a former Cleveland Brown, returns the kickoff 25 yards. So the Panthers to the offense. This is the first time the Panthers have trailed in the first half of the game this season. Week 1 in Atlanta, they led 13-3 in the first half. At halftime, the Panthers and the Falcons were tied at 13, and then last week, Carolina led Buffalo after 2 quarters, 6-0.
Well, mentally, this gives this football team an opportunity to be in, of course, a different situation. Like you said, they haven't. This is the first time they've been behind. So let's see how they react to this.
First and 10 for Frank Reich and the Panthers from the 25-yard line. Quick pass incomplete. The intended receiver, Mark Carrier. The Rams have outscored their opponents 31-3 in the first half. They defeated the Green Bay Packers 17-14 and the New Orleans Saints 17-13. Rams led 17-3 at halftime last week against the Saints in their home opener at Busch Stadium. Over 59,000 in attendance. Largest football crowd in the history of St. Louis. Second down and 10. Three wide receivers. Reich over the middle, finds the fullback, Bob Christian. And it was pulled down by the strong safety, Gerald McBurrows, after a gain of 7. Right now, another McDonald's game break. Here's James Brown in Hollywood.
All right, Kenny, an injured Jeff George looking pretty good here. The blitz is on by the Saints. On a blitz, and guess what? He finds a wide-open Terrence Mathis. Falcons have fought back. They've tied it at 10. We take it back to Carolina. Kenny and Anthony.
So the Atlanta Falcons were taken to overtime week 1 by the Carolina Panthers. Falcons won that game 23-20.
And the former Jet, Terrence Mathis, who came over the Falcons last year and just lit it up with a ton of catches out like Jeff George.
And here it's third down and 3. Eric Gulliford, second reception of this first half. He has the first down. We mentioned Gulliford earlier, third season out of Arizona State. His only NFL reception prior to this afternoon, the 45-yard final minute Hail Mary when he played for the Vikings against the Green Bay Packers 2 years ago.
The amazing thing, this happens a lot of times in this game. You come into a football game, and I'm sure they were looking for Willie Green, Mark Carrier, and then down the line there's Eric Gulliford. Well, so far, Eric Gulliford's the guy that's been making the catches. They have to pay more attention to him now.
On the end around, Mark Carrier takes from right. Panthers taking a play out of the Rams playbook. First play from scrimmage. Miller handed off to Alexander Wright.
They come out, a little trickery. Well, something we'll be seeing both ways. You see him right here coming around. Frank Reich faking the run. Then he gives him the handoff, and you get the center, Curtis Whitley, who comes out. But Todd Light comes up, forcing that ball to come back inside, and that's what you want a cornerback to do. Force it inside. That's where all your pursuit is coming from. Let the other guys make the play.
Second down and 11. Right, quick pass deflected by Todd Light. So it will be third down and 11.
Matchup we'll be watching all day. Number 68, Blake Brockermeyer. See him right there. You don't have to point him out. He takes up the whole screen. That's what you like in an offensive lineman. Get those hands inside with good balance. You see there, Sean Gilbert tried to give him that inside club, but because of the good balance by Brockermeyer, he was able to just stop Gilbert in his tracks with getting the hands inside. Nice play there.
Reich on third and long. Vince Workman once again stopped short of the first down by about 6 yards. So the Panthers have twice gone to Workman on third down, yet they have fell short in both instances.
It's interesting that they're third and long and they're trying to complete these little 2-3 yard passes and get first downs. They have to try and go downfield, especially knowing that that's been a problem area with their offense. They have to go down, build that confidence. When it's 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, build the confidence and say, hey, we can get that big yardage when we need it.
Tommy Barnhart's fourth punt of the afternoon. Todd Kinchin from the 20-yard line. Kinchin still on his feet across the 30. 12-yard return, 34-yard punt by Barnhart. The Rams lead the Panthers 7-0 from Clemson. Capers, former defensive coordinator in Pittsburgh, with Mr. Floyd and Green. First and 10, St. Louis. On their own 32. Leonard Russell, his first carry this afternoon, picks up 3 yards. Russell, the Rams' leading ball carrier over the first 2 weeks, 67 yards against the Saints on just 9 carries last week.
Well, they lined them both up in the backfield last week and had them both running, lead blocking for each other. This game, a little different philosophy. They just have one or the other back there with Marv Cook kind of leading the way. But he's one of the guys that we can expect them to get involved in the game. Another one they said we want to get involved early is Troy Drayton, the tight end who is not seen yet.
Second down and 7. 3-yard gain by Russell. Miller swings it out. Marv Cook did not hold on. Flag on the play.
Miller's pass intended. Number 47, Marv Cook.
The preliminary call is on the Rams. The referee this afternoon is Jerry Austin.
We have an illegal chop block, number 67 and 72, blocking low. That's a personal foul. 15 yards. Repeat, second down.
Well, that's Dwayne White, the right guard, and Clarence Jones. Kenny, you think maybe they've been watching their defense on the field, watching Sean Gilbert going down to Blake Brockermeyer. Right here you see the right guard and right tackle. Maybe they saw that Sean Gilbert was getting cut. Right here, one guy cannot be engaged with the defender and have another guy chop him. That's illegal, and that's where they drew the penalty.
So it pushes the Rams back to their own 20-yard line. Second down and 22. Isaac Bruce comes in motion. Miller with time, airs it out, looking for Alexander Wright. He's won the NFL's fastest man competition twice. And he was 3 yards shy of breaking free and finding the end zone.
You know, you talk to the teams before the game, and they say, well, this guy we want to get involved early. We mentioned that they wanted to get Alexander into the game, and right here, he's going one-on-one with Tyrone Poole. And he does beat him, gives him the little out move, has him beat, but the ball overthrown by Chris Miller, who a lot of people say he might be one of the best in the NFL throwing the ball downfield.
And it's now third down and 22. 3 wide receivers set. Miller dumps it off. Leonard Russell. And he is stopped well shy of the first down after a gain of 9. Lamar Lathan, the first Panther, in on the stop.
That was a nice hustle play by number 57, Lamar Lathan, coming back and making that tackle. Again, these both offenses being very conservative on third down, throwing the little pass, trying to pick up the first down, and so far it's not worked.
Sean Landetta's third punt of his first half. Philip Gulliford back deep. Tackled at the 31-yard line, so the Panthers offense returns 49-yard punt by Landetta. Back in Clemson, South Carolina. Roman Pfeiffer and the Rams leading the Panthers 7-0. Pfeiffer, the top tackler today, with 3 solo tackles, in on 3 others. And he grew up in Pineville, North Carolina, attended South Mecklenburg High School. He has 23 tickets for this afternoon's game. And Roman never thought that he would come back and play against an NFL team in the Carolinas. And here he is in the Panthers home opener. Right, going downfield. They finally air it out. Mark Carrier, the intended receiver.
Fans thinking maybe there was a little defensive contact there, wanting a penalty flag.
83, Mark Carrier.
But they didn't get it.
And the man Roman Pfeiffer was named after 27 years ago. Former Los Angeles Rams great Roman Gabriel, now the color analyst for the Carolina Panthers radio network. Roman Pfeiffer and Roman Gabriel met for the first time prior to the game this afternoon. Second down and 10 from the 31. Wright under pressure, threw it away.
Right pass intended for number 82.
I believe Frank Reich wanted to go to Don Beebe right here as you see him matched up one-on-one. But Todd Light breaks back, nice coverage, has him covered well. So Frank Reich just throws the ball out of bounds. And Don Beebe, a former teammate of Frank Reich up in Buffalo, now they're teammates here in the Carolina Panthers.
Third down and 10. Steps up, and it's picked off by Pfeiffer. Roman Pfeiffer with the interception, his second in 3 games.
Well, usually when you talk about a player, you talk about them, you show them they might do something wrong, but right here we talk about Roman Pfeiffer. You see him right in the middle of the screen, and he makes a super play as Frank Reich goes back to pass, and he just looking at the quarterback. Frank Reich trying to go to Mark Carrier, but Roman Pfeiffer's right there. And as we saw up in Green Bay when he intercepted one, he has pretty good running ability after he catches the football.
Roman's father, James, said he used to watch the Rams games, and the analysts on television said that Gabriel was a big, tough, strong guy. James Pfeiffer said, I put that tag on my son.
Well, you ask a lot of offensive players around the league that have played against him, and they'll probably say the same thing about Roman Pfeiffer.
First and 10 on the Panthers' 20-yard line. Russell hands it off to Isaac Bruce. And he gets back to the original line of scrimmage, pulled out of bounds by Carlton Bailey. Another trick play. Rich Brooks, who spent 18 years at the University of Oregon, said, I take calculated risks. I like to have what I call an alumni play in the package every week. I call them alumni plays because the alumni likes it each year, even if it doesn't work.
All right, here they pitch it to Leonard Russell, hands it off to Isaac Bruce, and it's Lamar Lathan who really forces that play, and then Carlton Bailey makes the tackle.
Second down and 10. Miller on play action, throws it out of the end zone.
Kenny, on that play right there, Chris Miller made a veteran heads-up play. They were setting up a screen to the opposite side to Troy Drayton, but the Panther defense covered it well, so he just looked downfield and threw it away. They were trying to get Troy Drayton into this ball game, which we've not heard a whole lot about. Troy Drayton right here. Follow him. He falls down. You see him fall down. Let everybody pursue to the right. Chris Miller looked to the left, and he said, heck, I can't go that way, so I'm just going to throw it into the hill he threw it into.
Drayton with no receptions today. Miller on third down, looking for Leonard Russell. Miller just 4 of 11.
They had the same play going to the left, this time with Leonard Russell, and a good pass. They might have made that work, but the ball was overthrown by Chris Miller. He had 2 offensive linemen out there ready to block for him.
39-yard attempt. McLaughlin's season long is 31. It is no good. Wide left. So the rookie from Arizona fails to connect on his first field goal attempt of the day. The longtime Indianapolis Colt, spent last year's with the Jets, replaces Frank Reich, who we are told is suffering from back spasms.
With this heat out there, it doesn't surprise me.
So Jack Trudeau in at quarterback, first and 10 from the 29. And he's taken down, he fumbles, and it's recovered by the Rams.
Kenny, a player that was questionable before the game started, outside linebacker Carlos Jenkins. You see him right here on the outside, coming unblocked. The running back attempts to block him. It was almost like the running back did not realize that he had to block Jenkins, and he pretty much comes unblocked, getting the sack on Jack Trudeau. But as I said, Carlos Jenkins was a guy that before the game was out there testing his foot, that had been sprained, and he wasn't sure if he was going to start or if Cedric Figueroa was going to start, but he has started, comes up with the sack here.
And the ball was recovered by Kevin Carter. Second consecutive Panthers turnover. Rams on the Carolina 27. On the delay, here's Bettis.
Not what Jack Trudeau wants to experience after taking over for Frank Reich. I mentioned I'm not surprised it's warmer than it has been the last couple days here, especially when you get the adrenaline flowing, you're out there playing. Really back spasms. I don't know if it's cramps or just maybe it was the way he got hit or something. But Jack Trudeau, first play, gets in there and he gets sacked.
Two tight ends for the Rams. Second down and 9. Bettis once again spins up to the 23-yard line. He gains 3, so it will be third down and long. We talked about the Panthers' failure to capitalize following turnovers. Last week in Buffalo, Carolina had the ball 3 times inside the Bills' 25, came away with only 6 points. Turned that around. The Rams, following the Pfeiffer interception, came up with nothing. McLaughlin missed the field goal. Now another interception, a fumble by Trudeau, and they have 3rd and 7 on the Carolina 23.
Those are the type of opportunities you have to take advantage of, especially when you get the ball deep in your opponent's territory. To come away with no points, it just drives the coach crazy.
The Rams 0 for 5 on 3rd down. Miller looking end zone. Touchdown, Jesse Hester.
Talking about taking advantage of turnovers, and the Rams hit a big one. You see Jesse Hester, who just takes it, goes to the corner of the end zone as number 21, Rod Smith, is back in coverage. Nice inside move by Jesse Hester. Turns Rod Smith, allows them to get behind him for the touchdown. They're set up by a nice dip to the inside, going outside. That's a veteran move there.
McLaughlin's extra point is good. Fritz Miller has now thrown 4 touchdown passes this season and no interceptions.
That's one of the things that Coach Brooks pointed to as a key for the reason they're 2-0. As you see the reaction by Chris Miller, he said the reason we're 2-0 is because we've not made any mistakes, but that doesn't give us reason to think that we have arrived. He says we still have a lot of work to do, but the fact that we have no turnovers has been a big key for our success so far.
The Carolina Panthers came in +4 the takeaway giveaway department, but they have turned the ball over the last 2 times they have had possession. First, the interception by Roman Pfeiffer, and then the fumble by Jack Trudeau, sacked by Carlos Jenkins, and the recovery by Kevin Carter.
Excuse me, Kenny, as we look at it, Hester goes down, he makes a nice little inside dip move, and that's really what disrupts Rod Smith's coverage and allows him to get open, and Chris Miller lays the ball in there perfectly. See, right there at the 10-yard line, just enough of an inside fake to make it appear that he is going across the middle there, and that clears him for the touchdown catch.
Jesse Hester in his 10th season out of Florida State. Randy Baldwin, Dwight Stone back deep. Baldwin backpedaling in the end zone, and he decides to stay right there. Anthony, our Aflac trivia question. Who's the only expansion quarterback to throw more touchdowns than interceptions during that expansion season?
I think I would have to say Jim Zorn, Seattle Seahawks. That would be my guess.
Seattle Seahawks? Oh, what was that?
Was that a buzzer that says incorrect? I mean, Kenny, how about you? Take a guess. I've already been buzzed wrong.
To tell you the truth, I would have had the same guess. Jim Zorn with the Seahawks. 1st and 10 for the Panthers with Trudeau still in at quarterback. Christian gains 1 yard up the middle, stopped by Kevin Carter.
Kevin Carter is a player that Coach Brooks has been extremely happy with. When he first came in as a rookie, they had him at the right defensive end with Sean Gilbert over at the left defensive end. They said, well, Kevin Carter played the left side in college. Just put him back there, see if he is more familiar with that in pro ball, and he has. He's been doing a tremendous job.
Trudeau on 2nd and 9. The pass is complete. Willie Green has the first down, and that is the Panthers' 6th first down, which matches their total of a week ago.
And Willie Green helps signal first down. See Frank Reich right here. I'm sure he's disappointed with the back spasm, not being able to be in there.
1st and 10 for the Panthers. From the 33-yard line, Howard Griffith looks to go outside. He fumbled. The ball is still loose. And it looks as if the Panthers, this time, recovered Andrew Peterson, the rookie left guard.
I believe the Rams had a chance to pick that one up. They might have tried to scoop it up and run with the football instead of just falling on the football. You see Howard Griffith right there, and who else is making the hit but number 58, Roman Pfeiffer right there. You see Torin Dorn, number 46, instead of falling on the football, he wanted to scoop it up, score 6 points, but it didn't work out. The Panthers recover it.
So, 3 minutes to go, second quarter. 2nd down and 15 for Jack Trudeau and the Panthers.
Trudeau appears to be changing the play at the line of scrimmage.
And now he drops back under pressure, and he is taken down by Kevin Carter.
Wow, it looked like he was going to throw a quick pass. He had a short drop. You see right here, Kevin Carter coming out, going against Derek Graham. Derek Graham tries to punch him, but he turns his shoulder, and with this speed, Kevin Carter beats him around the corner to get the sack. Jack Trudeau was going to throw it quickly. He pumps right there. He's looking to try to get somebody open, but not enough time. The big kid out of Florida makes the hit.
So it's now 3rd down and 20. Trudeau over the top. Vince Workman, 3rd time today. They have gone to Workman on 3rd down and have fallen well short of the first down.
Well, as I talked to Vince Workman before the game, he said, I want to get in this game plan, but when you're 3rd and long, I don't think the running back coming out of the backfield with the 2-yard dump is what you want to do.
2-minute warning from Clemson with the Rams on top, 14-0.
Ladies and gentlemen,
See Frank Reich and Jack Trudeau. We have a correction on the injury front. It is actually Alexander Wright of the Rams who is suffering from back spasms. So Wright appears to be okay.
Well, a move that Dom Capers didn't hesitate making then. If Frank Reich is not injured, put Jack Trudeau in. You see him make quick decisions on other things like going for 2, and right here he pulls the starting quarterback.
And Kinchin wrestled out of bounds after a 33-yard punt by Barnhart. Now we hit the 2-minute warning. We'll be back. Coming up, Dockers halftime. Scores from around the National Football League. Choice cuts.
Well, going back to when we came back, we are in Clemson. You find the stadium, and you also find NFL on Fox.
So the Dockers halftime coming up. Just under 2 minutes to go. That's a good way to keep cool.
Right now, I wish I had one of those sitting right beside me, just blowing cool air on me.
We'll work on that at halftime.
Okay.
Rams leading 14-0. Miller keeps it himself. He is dragged down by Lamar Lathan after a gain of 8 yards. Clock continues to run. 1:40 to go. Rams back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 2. Miller to Leonard Russell across midfield. He's met by Tim McKyer. And now the Rams call their first timeout with 1 minute 22 seconds remaining.
Coach Brooks does not look real happy about that. Talking to special teams coach Wayne Sevier.
The Clemson University Tiger Band.
My guess would be that I called the timeout there, not you guys maybe. He was pounding his chest. By his reaction, being unhappy, my guess would be that somebody else besides him called that timeout.
Brooks and Miller go way back. Rich Brooks was Chris Miller's coach in college at the University of Oregon, and Miller also went to school with Brooks' kids.
Knows his family well. In fact, I'm sure they probably know how each other reacts in different situations, having gone through that time in college. Now spent some time here during the preseason and into the third week this year.
Chris Miller said despite the 2 victories, he said, we know we must improve offensively and score more points. And they have put 14 on the board in the first half after scoring 17 points each of the first 2 games.
Well, they've gone once through the air and once on the ground. So, you know, they got to be happy about the way they've scored the points.
Miller looked as if he slipped, regains his footing, and he finds Todd Kitchen, who breaks the first tackle. Kitchen across the 20, down to the 18-yard line.
You can see some of his kick return ability on that. He just took it and he said, the heck with going out of bounds. I'm going to try and get some extra yardage. Took it up to the middle of the field, and he got a few more, and he comes up limping a little bit. Right here you see Lamar Lathan coming from the Panthers defense, and Chris Miller does a nice job avoiding the rush. He flushes out to the right. That gives him an opportunity to bide some time, look over the field, and he sees Todd Kitchen coming over and getting open, so he hits him on a nice move. Lamar Lathan coming from the backside is Brett Maxey, number 38. You see Bubba McDowell coming up. He has to make that tackle there. He makes the tackle. The clock continues to run. He doesn't make the tackle there. He has to make that tackle. Tim McKyer comes over with the help from other defenders.
29 yards on the reception by Todd Kitchen. Rams called their second timeout, and they are inside the Panthers' 20-yard line.
Might have been a little pain getting off the ground there, but when you make a catch like that, you get big yardage. And you saw his smile. I'm sure he's rather happy about that.
On the left, the owner of the Carolina Panthers, former Baltimore Colts receiver Jerry Richardson, and on the right, the commissioner of the National Football League, Paul Tagliabue. And they have watched the Rams and the Panthers. Rams with the 14-0 lead. That was their 4th pass play of over 20 yards. And the pass is short, intended for Leonard Russell. So the clock stops with 57 seconds remaining. It will be 2nd down and 10.
Going back to who we saw on the screen, Commissioner Paul Tagliabue. I was talking to him before the game, and you could see the excitement about being down here, getting this game underway. But then we talked a little bit about their home stadium for next year in Charlotte. He was talking about what a beautiful sight that's going to be, how the seats were made, so all the seats in the stadium are excellent seats, and how close the fans will be to the action once they finish that stadium up in Charlotte.
And that will be ready for the start of the 96 season. On 2nd and 10, Miller is taken down. Sam Mills with his first sack of the season.
Well, they brought the house on that one. They brought Tyrone Poole. They brought Sam Mills. They brought everybody. They knew that they were going to pass. There was a high snap. He caught it. And you see Sam Mills coming through for the sack.
Clock continues to run. 3rd down and 20. Miller looking end zone. The intended receiver, Isaac Bruce. So with 29 seconds remaining, it will be 4th down and 20.
Isaac Bruce going against number 21, Rod Smith. You see Bruce here. And there's Rod Smith, number 21, going against, again, the same route that Jesse Hester caught it. You know, if they go with the rule that they put in, contact after 5 yards, that's a pass interference. His left shoulder went right into the chest of Isaac Bruce.
48-yard attempt by McLaughlin. No good. McLaughlin 0 for 2. So with 22 seconds remaining in this second quarter, there is special teams coach Wayne Sevier, longtime Washington Redskins coach. Steve McLaughlin has missed from 37 and 48. Darian Conner may have gotten a piece of it at the line.
Also, as you looked at Coach Sevier, coached another St. Louis kicker, Jim Bakken of the old St. Louis Cardinals. There's nobody really around it. The ball is really kicked low. It looks like he kicked the top half of the football, kicked it really low.
Panthers with all 3 of their timeouts remaining as Trudeau swings it out to Workman. And a flag behind the play.
It was DeMarco Farr who came in there. We might have a late hit on number 75 of the Rams.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 75, 15 yards, first down.
The one thing we noticed about DeMarco Farr, this is our second game that we've done, he's always going full speed. And right here, he goes full speed. Jack Trudeau's throwing the football, and he takes him down to the turf. And that's where you get roughing the passer.
So the ball placed on the Rams 36. First time the Panthers are in St. Louis territory today, but just 15 seconds to go.
Panthers set that play up nicely, knowing that front pass rush of the Rams is going to be coming hard as they were, and we saw it in the replay. DeMarco Farr, Fred Stokes, the offensive lineman, just let him go right by, and they set up the screen nicely. He tacked on some more yards with the penalty.
4 wide receivers. Trudeau over the middle, it's complete. Down to the 16-yard line. Eric Gulliford with his 3rd reception. That one goes for 19 yards.
And Jack Trudeau stands in there under some pressure. He takes a hit from Kevin Carter, but still completes it to Eric Gulliford. As you see, number 93 making a nice move on Derek Graham. And a perfect pass by Jack Trudeau, knowing that the rushers are getting close. The quarterbacks can sense that, but he's going to stand right in there because he also knows if he does, his receiver will get open, as he did right there, taking that Panther offense into field goal position.
Anthony Jack Trudeau, 4 for 4. So he has come in and sparked the Panthers, 4 for 4, 47 yards. Gulliford with 3 receptions for 39 yards, and with 9 seconds remaining, the Panthers with 2 timeouts left. 1st and 10 on the 17.
Excuse me, Kenny, you have 9 seconds left here. I would at least take 1 shot into the end zone, try to score something here, and you still have enough time to at least kick a field goal. But you have to get into the end zone. You can't throw anything across the middle of the football field.
4 wide receivers, Workman alone back. Trudeau steps up, and he throws it out of the end zone. 4 seconds to go.
Well, I said into the end zone. He threw it out of the end zone. They have a flag down. Everyone's pointing towards the Panthers. It's in that dreaded holding area.
Holding, number 68 of the offense, 10 yards. Repeat, first down.
And that's Blake Brockermeyer, the rookie left tackle who we've spoken about earlier. And he is now going against Fred Stokes, number 60. We understand that Sean Gilbert will have his right knee checked out at halftime. Fred Stokes is in there rushing the passer.
John Casey will attempt a 45-yard field goal. He was 3 for 3 last week. And a kick by Casey is good. So the Panthers able to put points on the board prior to halftime. 45-yard field goal by the former Seattle Seahawk, John Casey. So the score at the half, the St. Louis Rams 14 and the Carolina Panthers 3.
Anytime in
the first half, the keys, the turnovers, and only 19 rushing yards for Carolina.
Well, the Rams coming in this game knew they had to run the ball. 69 yards in the first half, not bad. But you look at the Panthers, 19 yards rushing. Key stat, 2 turnovers.
Yes, the interception by Roman Pfeiffer, and then the sack by Jenkins on Jack Trudeau, which was recovered by Kevin Carter. And the 2 touchdowns in that first half, Jerome Bettis 2-yard run, and then Miller to Hester.
Well, that was a big play. Jesse Hester making a nice inside fake and then going to the corner of the end zone where Chris Miller laid it up there nicely, had nice protection. But what set that play up was the nice move on Rod Smith, I believe, that gave him the opportunity to score that touchdown.
Jesse Hester's first touchdown this season. Chris Miller in the first half, 7 of 15, including the touchdown pass to Hester.
Throughout the stadium at first aid stations throughout the stadium.
The Rams will kick off as we begin this second half. Back deep for the Panthers, Randy Baldwin and Dwight Stone. Steve McLaughlin, who missed 2 field goals in that first half from 37 and 48 yards, will kick it off as we get set to begin this third quarter from Clemson, South Carolina. St. Louis Rams 14, the Carolina Panthers 3. The kickoff bounces out of bounds.
Kickoff out of bounds. The ball
coach
will
of
be
the Rams
placed on the 40-yard
cannot be
line.
happy about the kicking game today. McLaughlin missed 2 field goals, and now the kickoff goes out of bounds, so the Panthers will take over on the 40-yard line.
Well, here's the kicker, McLaughlin, who really had some troubles in the preseason, but going back to their season opener up in Green Bay, we talked to Coach Brooks, and he really felt that this young kid had a great future ahead of him. Thought he was a big-time kicker. Today, he's having some problems.
The Rams waived the veterans in Dejas, brought in McLaughlin. And there is head coach Rich Brooks in his first season. Jack Trudeau remains at the helm for the Panthers in relief of Frank Reich. Trudeau to the air on first down, and the pass is complete. Mark Carrier.
Jack Trudeau's pass complete to number 83.
Gain of 5 yards. So it will be second down and 5 as the Panthers approach midfield.
We talked about it in the first half. Fred Stokes coming in at the right defensive end, now working against Blake Brockemeyer. Sean Gilbert was checked out at halftime. No word on the status of his knee. Fred Stokes out of Georgia Southern in his 9th year. Veteran defensive lineman.
Second down and 5. Derek Moore met immediately. So it will be third down and long. We talked Friday with the line coach of the Carolina Panthers, Jim McNally, your longtime guru in Cincinnati, and Jim told us that Fred Stokes was the defensive lineman you had the most problems with during your 13-year career.
And I remember it quite well, playing the Redskins in Cincinnati, and it was one of those things. Usually as an offensive lineman, you can make adjustments, combat their moves, but the whole game I just could not adjust, as you see Jim McNally here, could not adjust to Fred Stokes during that football game.
Trudeau on third down and 4. With time, it is picked off. Keith Lyle, the second-year man out of Virginia, his second interception this season, and the third Carolina Panthers turnover.
Not necessarily a mental mistake, but a mistake on the offensive side of the football, giving the Ram offense another chance to try to get some points off a turnover. Here we are. We're playing the defensive secondary. You see Keith Lyle, number 35, sitting right back there, and the ball is overthrown. Overthrows Pete Metzelaars and Keith Lyle is right there to make the interception. Pete Metzelaars is a big guy. You can throw the ball up there and have him go after it, but that ball is just thrown too high. And he's not real happy. Fred Stokes is trying to block him after the interception. Gives him a nice swat there. I expect to see an arm over.
First and 10 for the Rams. Here's Bettis.
Go, Bubba!
You know, we talked earlier in the game about who the Rams were going to pick on, who they were going to go after, and that was Tim McKyer on the defensive left side. But what they've been doing, actually the offensive right, defensive left, but here we see where they've been attacking, and it's been the opposite side. They've been going towards Rod Smith on the left side of their offense, right side defensively.
And it was Rod Smith whom Jesse Hester beat for the touchdown after the second quarter. Second down and 5 after the 5-yard run by Bettis. Miller fires one over the middle, looking for the tight end Troy Drayton, who has not yet caught a pass today.
Well, we saw Troy Drayton there on that play come in motion. He gets lost. A lot of times a receiver coming in motion, and if he's going in motion and he's involved in the blocking scheme, he might be overlooked. And he was overlooked a little bit. He came over the middle. He's got to make that catch. There's no question about it. He's lying there. He knows he has to make the catch. That wasn't a difficult catch to make.
Third down and 4. Kinchin in motion. Miller has the first down. Flag on the play in the offensive backfield.
Well, as he signals, it's holding against the Rams. We'll take him backwards.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Number 79 of the offense. 10 yards. Repeat third down.
Well, I don't think I've gotten a holding right yet. That's Leo Goes, the left guard. They've been putting those hands up into the face quite a bit.
I wonder if Leo went through his weekly pregame ritual, Anthony, of eating the Hawaiian delicacy poi.
Well, that probably gives him that strength. And right there, if we can stop it right there, you see that big mitt right on the face mask. You cannot do that. That's Sean Price, the defensive lineman for the Panthers, who takes that hand in the face.
So it sets up a 3rd and 14. Miller out of the shotgun. He steps up, keeps it himself, and he is grabbed to the turf by Lamar Lathan. So the Rams will punt after the 6-yard gain by Miller, who has a friendly chat with Brett Maxey.
Right there you saw the excellent speed that Tom Capers looked for in those outside linebackers as he put this defense together with Darian Connor and Lamar Lathan. Lamar Lathan rushing the passer. All of a sudden he turns back upfield and he catches Chris Miller from behind. Nice change of direction, nice explosion to make that play.
Eric Gulliford calls for the fair catch at the 20. So the Panthers offense back out. 36-yard punt by Landetta. We are told Sean Gilbert is out for the remainder of this afternoon's game. Sprained right knee.
That's a big loss for that Ram defense.
His replacement is Fred Stokes. Trudeau has the first down. The big tight end, Pete Metzelaars. His first reception today, and it goes for 16 yards.
And he had a little trouble holding on to that one at first, but he got control of the football. They tried to go to him a little earlier. Now they finally hit him. You would think that maybe they would have gotten Pete Metzelaars involved in this offense even sooner than this third quarter.
It's only his 3rd reception of the season.
In fact, of course, he scored the first touchdown in Carolina Panther history. Frank Reich connecting in Atlanta.
First and 10 from the 36. And the pass was deflected. The pass deflected by Cedric Figaro.
Cedric Figaro, number 53, sitting in here for Carlos Jenkins, who had the foot injury that thought he might not be able to play at all, but he started the football game. Right there, he comes in untouched, jumps up and knocks it down.
Second down and 10. On the delay, it's Christian. Christian works his way to the 39-yard line. Gain of 3 yards. Remember, the Panthers only 19 yards on the ground in the first half.
Kenny, I want to show you the quickness of DeMarco Farr. It was a draw. You see DeMarco Farr right here. Watch his quickness coming off the football. It didn't help on this play, but it was a draw. Well, he's almost across the line of scrimmage, past Andrew Peterson, and he just is a young man that knows how to play this football game, and that's one speed all the time, and that's full speed.
Farr just 6'1", 270 pounds. It's not often that we say only 6'1", 270, yet he is considered small for a defensive lineman.
I talked about this defensive scheme. He said this scheme lets the little guys play, like myself and John Randall up in Minnesota.
Here's Todd Kitchen. Kitchen up to the 29-yard line. 50-yard punt. 17-yard return. White Stone made the stop.
There's a young man that knows how to play this football game, and that's one speed all the time, and that's full speed.
Farr just 6'1", 270 pounds. It's not often that we say only 6'1", 270, yet he is considered small for a defensive lineman.
I talked about this defensive scheme. He said this scheme lets the little guys play, like myself and John Randall up in Minnesota.
Here's Todd Kitchen. Kitchen up to the 29-yard line. 50-yard punt. 17-yard return. White Stone made the stop. 9:42 to go in this third quarter. Chris Miller and the St. Louis Rams leading the Carolina Panthers 14-3. They've let everybody in the stadium know it.
Yeah.
Over 60,000 on the campus of Clemson University. As Jerome Bettis takes the handoff from Chris Miller, he fumbles, and it's recovered by the Panthers, but the ruling is Bettis was down. No fumble. And a 4-yard gain by Bettis.
That's one of the things that the Rams have been able not to do. They've created 8 turnovers, and they've yet to turn one over. And right here, close to second time that they've almost turned it over. The ball squirts loose, but they say he is down. Bubba McDowell pounces on that football, but it's still Rams football.
Bettis was down, to the Rams have still not yet committed a turnover this season. Bettis on second down, this time around the left side, finds a hole, and he has the first down to the 41. Jerome Bettis now 53 yards on the afternoon on 12 carries. Anthony, 1,000 light years from Earth events are taking place that could threaten the very existence of mankind. Now, the producers of the X-Files will take you even deeper into the unknown. Space, above and beyond. Catch the series premiere next Sunday on Fox.
You know, it's interesting. We were talking about Jerome Bettis a little earlier. Last week was his best game since week 9 of the '94 season, where he had 91 yards.
Play action pass. It's complete. Another first down. It's Jesse Hester. Finally tackled by Bubba McDowell. 20-yard gain.
Jesse Hester, the 10-year veteran out of Florida State. It's nice to have the guys that have been around, have played football for some top teams in the league. Nice throw by Chris Miller, completing that football. And it's always, you might make a completion, but you're always going to pay a price after the ball. Rod Smith making the hit, and not just right there you see, I was going to say it wasn't just a love tap, it was a good hit that he put on Chris Miller.
You saw the stats on Miller, 8 for 17. 5 of those 8 completions have gone for at least 20 yards.
Well, he has the guys to be able to do that. We've been talking about Jesse Hester. You have Isaac Bruce, Todd Kitchen, who made a nice catch in the first half. Jesse getting a little fuel, getting refueled, get back in there.
Chris Miller enjoys playing on grass. He pointed out last night 12 of the Rams' next 13 games will take place on turf. And he's He suffered a couple of serious knee injuries playing on artificial turf in his career. Second down and 7. Russell cuts left, and then he is pulled down behind the line by Darian Connor. Loss of a yard. Darian Connor and Chris Miller, longtime teammates with the Atlanta Falcons.
And the guys up front trying to block those guys like Darian Connor and Mike Fox. We have a change along the offensive front. We have Chuck Bellin, number 71, coming in at the right guard position for Dwayne White. As the Rams the first couple weeks have been shuffling their right tackle with Darrell Ashmore and Clarence Jones.
Third down and 8. Miller out of the shotgun. And a pass off the fingertips of Russell. Sean Landeta trots out. He will punt for the 6th time this afternoon. Anthony, the Rams now 1 of 9 on third down attempts.
And once again, as you see their play selection, or at least the receiver that Chris Miller goes to, it's the running back coming out of the backfield, trying to complete a short pass, and then allowing the running back to gain the rest of the yardage for the first down, and they've not been successful doing that.
Culliford lets it go, and it rolls into the end zone. Johnny Thomas could not get his hands on the ball. So the Panthers will start from their own 20-yard line. Themselves up 14-3, looking to go 3-0. First and 10 Panthers. With Jack Trudeau at quarterback. Willie Green. Green fumbles. It's recovered by Parker of the Rams. Anthony Parker into the end zone for a touchdown. He scored 3 touchdowns last year with Minnesota. And he returns the Willie Green fumble 27 yards. And the Rams lead is now 20-3.
It's amazing. Every time this guy gets around the football, he's going to score a touchdown. Also in 1991 in the World League, he had 11 interceptions with 2 touchdowns for the Knights. He just finds the football, and when he's around it, right here you see him, he misses the tackle, but he comes back after Shane Conlon strips the ball, and you have Todd Light right there trying to get a block. But Parker says, I really don't need a block. I'm just going to take it in for 6 for the St. Louis Rams.
Anthony Parker last year scored touchdowns in 3 consecutive games with the Vikings. It is now St. Louis 21, Carolina 3. Last year set a National Football League record with touchdowns in 3 consecutive games defensively. Willie Green fumbled, and it was returned by Anthony Parker, his 5th career touchdown, his 3rd on a fumble recovery. So the Rams lead is now 21-3. Randy Baldwin from the 1-yard line. Baldwin with some running room. 36-yard return by the former Cleveland Brown, Randy Baldwin. So the Panthers will start out in pretty good field position. He was finally taken down by Gerald McBurrows.
Randy Baldwin, who last year was with the Cleveland Browns, right there making some nice moves, making guys miss. And that's a key to a punt return, kickoff return man. The ability to make guys miss, because you're going to have them coming down full speed, trying to make the tackle, and if you can make a miss, you're going to gain some positive yardage.
First and 10, Panthers from their own 37. Trudeau's pass is deflected, and it's caught. Vince Workman on the reception after the deflection by Fred Stokes, and the Panthers lose 5 yards.
What happens here on this replay, you see Blake Brockemeyer trying to cut Fred Stokes down, similar to what he was doing to Sean Gilbert in the first half, but he throws too quick. He's got to wait till Stokes closes that gap and then throw his body through the thigh area to hopefully hit the knee, lower knee area, and right there he just threw too early.
Second down and 15. interception. Todd Light. 5th Panthers turnover. Light with an interception for the 2nd consecutive game. Last week, he returned it for a touchdown against the Saints.
Todd Light, who's been making the quarterbacks throw away from him with his tight coverage. We see right here where he has a one-on-one coverage. And once again, he just has super coverage on Don Beebe. Makes the break, makes the interception.
The Rams now plus 10 in giveaway takeaways. They have forced 10 interceptions. They have not turned the ball over.
And we can hear the fans shouting Terry, Terry, meaning Terry Collins, the rookie from Penn State, the quarterback.
He did play briefly last week. Now Miller bobbles the snap, has time, and he finds Marv Cook. Cook battles his way inside the 35. Right now, let's head to Hollywood for a McDonald's game break. Here's James Brown.
All right, Kenny, good defensive play by Todd Light. Take a look at this one by the Cardinals. Barry Sanders stopped in 4th and goal at the 3-inch mark. First 4th down attempt this season by the Lions, so guess what? It stays 10-6 Lions, that in the 3rd. Back to Kenny and Anthony.
Anthony, don't the Lions usually take Barry Sanders out on goal line situations?
That was my first thought when JB said Barry Sanders trying to go over. They do. They usually take him out, just keep him in the open field.
With Kerry Collins looking on, 2nd down and 1 for the Rams. Play action. Miller finds a wide open Isaac Bruce. Down to the 14-yard line. 20 yards on the reception.
We talked earlier about maybe going to Tim McKier's side. You see Isaac Bruce, Tim McKier right here. They finally come over to the defensive left side. Little hesitation move. Bus makes a nice burst, but then he throttles off, brings it back, makes the reception right here. You just see the nice pass. Nice tight spiral. Hits him right in the chest.
Miller's 6th completion of at least 20 yards. First down from the 14. Here's Bettis. Bettis gains perhaps 1 yard. Isaac Bruce, 3 receptions, 78 yards. He had the big second quarter. Bruce has scored a touchdown each of the first 2 games, and he is off to a terrific start. Led the NFL in preseason touchdowns with 4.
Well, we talked to him yesterday, and we said, well, how does it feel like you being the go-to guy? And you could tell he's kind of a little bit uncomfortable with that, but he did say, I like it. One of the things about Isaac Bruce last year, he's playing against Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders is actually coaching him a little bit on how to come off the football and stay low and do this and do that. Of course, as a young player, he thought a veteran player was trying to kind of pull it over him, but he realized that Deion Sanders was teaching him something.
He certainly was. Chris Miller calls timeout. 2:34 to go. 3rd quarter.
Not good. Not good because the Rams have taken advantage, scored some points, and right here is the reason why they're scoring the points. We've talked Miller, Bettis, Bruce, Hester, Drayton, but it's the guys up front, and you have to take into consideration they've been shuffling the right tackles with Darrell Ashmore, Clarence Jones. You have Chuck Bellin in there. So that sometimes can create a problem when you're shuffling guys, but they've been able to hold up and do an excellent job.
On 2nd and 10, Miller is taken down. Lamar Lathan, his 2nd sack of the season.
Just as we talk about the offensive line, then all of a sudden Lamar Lathan comes on a blitz coming from the outside to the inside. You see the nice game there by the defensive lineman and Sam Mills, and Lathan comes untouched up the middle to get the sack. That's where this Panther defense creates a lot of problems for offensive line because they're blitzing people, they're crossing, they're looping, and that's tough when you're an area blocking team if you're not coordinated.
Anthony now 3rd down and 20. Miller hands it off. Bettis up towards the original line of scrimmage. Bettis picks up 7. And now Steve McLaughlin will come out to attempt a field goal of approximately 34 yards. He is 0 for 2. He's missed from 37 and 48.
And I would highly recommend, if he misses this one, that he doesn't walk off the field towards Coach Brooks.
I want to run up the hill behind the doorpost. Mark Griffin to hold it. 34-yard attempt by McLaughlin. This time he hits. So the rookie Steve McLaughlin from 34 yards out. Rich Brooks and the Rams now lead 24-3, and that was McLaughlin's longest field goal this season. The Rams just over 1 quarter away from a 3-0 start, and they will host the Chicago Bears next week before traveling to Indianapolis. Last year, the Los Angeles Rams finished with 4 wins and 12 losses.
And if they win this one, they've already able to win 3. Best start since '89.
The last 4 times the Rams have started 3-0. They went to the playoffs, 1985, 86, 88, and then 89, lost the NFC Championship game.
And that would be a good start as a NFL head coach for Coach Brooks coming in his first year. And if they follow suit with what's happened in the past and go to the playoffs, coming back as a head coach first year, not bad.
McLaughlin will kick it off. The Carolina Panthers have been outscored 45-3 in the third quarter of their 3 games. Last week, the Buffalo Bills with 4 third-quarter touchdowns.
So at the minute 18, they want this minute 18 to run down and be over with as soon as possible.
They certainly do. White Stone takes one knee in the end zone.
We talk about the missed field goals by Steve McLaughlin, but one of the things they wanted out of him was that was his 3rd kick into the end zone, and they knew that he had the strong leg. So maybe that kind of offsets the missed field goals that he's had today, but I'm sure that they'll be talking to him about that, even though he's kicked it in the end zone.
You know, Steve McLaughlin, an interesting guy, is the lead singer and guitar player for an alternative rock band called Pet the Fish, and they have opened for one of your favorites, Anthony, Toad the Wet Sprocket.
I haven't heard Toad the Wet Sprocket in a while.
I'm sure Steve could set that up. Trudeau on first down. Mark Carrier across the 30-yard line. Gains 11, and Trudeau looks to be shaken up.
I believe it was Carlos Jenkins making the hit on Jack Trudeau. Getting up slowly. Made the completion. As you see Terry Collins checking things out. Maybe he has to grab his helmet now. There's been a lot of untouched blitzes coming through, and the quarterbacks have been taking a lot of hits today.
Trudeau replaced Frank Reich in the second quarter. Trudeau 9 of 13. This time he hands it off. Howard Griffith across the 35 to the 38-yard line. Todd Light made the stop after a gain of 7. And there is Frank Reich. The 11th NFL season out of Maryland. His return to Buffalo last week was not an enjoyable one.
Not enjoyable at all, and he felt that he not only let himself down, his teammates, but all the people that really were expecting him to lead this football team. And he said finally it wasn't until Thursday when he said, the heck with that, I have to move on. I have to be consistent in my play.
And that will do it for the third quarter. The St. Louis Rams leading the Carolina Panthers 24-3. 3. Trudeau to the fullback, Bob Christian, has the first down and took a hard hit from Shane Conlon.
Also on the rush there was number 76, Robert Young, who just got through there in a hurry, putting pressure on the quarterback.
Robert Young playing his first game this year, involved in a swimming pool accident during the summer. He supposedly was trying to stop the fall of a friend who weighs 400 pounds. Robert Young took the brunt of that fall. And he is in there for the first time this season. First down for the Panthers. Randy Baldwin. Oh, he takes a hit from the strong safety Toby Wright. So it will be second down right now for a McDonald's game break. Let's head back to Hollywood and James Brown.
Kenny, solid hit there, but take a look at Sanders. He doesn't get hit. Cutback move against an over-pursuing Cardinals defense. 47 yards to pay dirt. 131 yards in the afternoon for Sanders. Detroit on top, 17-6. Back to Kenny and Anthony.
Well, Barry could not get in from 1 yard out, but he does so from 47.
I need the long run. Who needs the 1 yard run?
On 2nd and 3, play action. Trudeau over the middle. Metzelars has the first down inside the 40.
The Rams have to be happy about what they're doing to the quarterback this afternoon. Just about every time he's back there throwing the football, there's some blue jerseys around him. As you see Robert Young and a host of others sitting up there. But Jack Trudeau sits right in there like the veteran quarterback he is and completes that pass to Metzelars, another veteran.
Trudeau now 11 of 15 with 2 interceptions. Only 2 of his passes have not been caught.
Well, like in a lot of other cities where you've been hearing the quarterback controversy with the Panthers this week.
Trudeau double pumps. Carrier, the intended receiver. He was watched by Anthony Parker.
Anthony Parker, again, near the football, you see here. And he'll get a little help from behind on this one. As Carrier makes a nice fake to the inside. Parker does not bite on it. You see Toby Wright in the area. But he sees that the ball is well overthrown.
Anthony Parker scored on a 27-yard fumble recovery in the 3rd quarter. Second down and 10 for the Panthers. Trudeau over the top. It's picked off by Shane Conlon. 6 Carolina Panther turnovers and the 3rd interception thrown by Jack Trudeau.
Well, I tell you, fans getting up, going to leave. Here's Shane Conlon right here, number 56, going back into his drop, watching the quarterback the whole time. The ball is just overthrown and picked off by Shane Conlon.
Conlon's first pick of the season.
The 3000 GT VR4 represents the most advanced thinking that Mitsubishi has ever built into a sports.
Carolina, Shane Conlon with his 5th career interception. Turnover number 6 by the Carolina Panthers. Jerome Bettis, good second effort.
Now it's Bubba McDowell, number 25, who came up in a hurry. Should have had that tackle and allowed Jerome Bettis to gain a few yards on that play.
Jerome Bettis, who had a very productive offseason away from the football field. He actually bowled a 300 game. Perfect game in bowling. 2 sports stars.
We had a chance to talk to him a couple of weeks about it. It was amazing. Here's a star running back in the NFL to see how excited he was about bowling.
And he has gained 67 yards on the ground here today. Miller on second down. Isaac Bruce, his 4th reception, and a Rams first down. Getting back to Jerome Bettis, Anthony, that 300 game on the bowling alleys in Muskegon, Michigan. He says that was his sports fantasy growing up. His goal was not to become a National Football Leaguer. It was to become a professional bowler, and that is something he may pursue once his NFL career comes to an end.
Well, and quite honestly, I'm not a big bowling fan, so I don't know all the names of the professional bowlers. But he sat there as we were talking to him, naming all these professional bowlers, and I was just amazed on all that he knew. Earl Anthony, and just was amazing.
Leonard Russell, and a flag on the play. And the call is holding on the Rams.
Holding, number 70 of the offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Left tackle, Wayne Gandy. Big guy calls for holding. You see him right here as we look at it. Those big old hands, big old arms, he just takes and puts his arms around Sean King, number 96. You see he's grabbing some cloth. See that? Sean King kind of reaches out, and all of a sudden you see that 6 go back to the inside. That was evidence that it was a holding call.
You never did that, did you?
The Rams got the ball here.
Very questionable answer. Miller to the tight end, Troy Drayton, his first reception of the afternoon, and he stepped out of bounds just inside the 47-yard line. So a gain of 17 from Miller to Drayton.
As we sit here with 10:42 left in the game, one of the things I've noticed is there's been a lot of sloppy tackling by the Panther defense. A defense that is aggressive, a penetrating type of defense. Right here, Carlton Bailey, there's been several occasions where they could make initial hits and tackles, and they've not been able to do that.
Troy Drayton, 7 receptions over the first 2 weeks. Second down and 3. Leonard Russell has the first down and more. Brett Maxey made the stop. The 11-yard gain by Russell.
Well, we're talking about that offensive line. One of the things I noticed in the tape last week, when they were playing the Saints, they were moving those Saints defenders backwards. Right here, you just see the Panther white shirts. You see the Rams offensive linemen just engaged and moving them out of the way. That right side of the offensive line with now Chuck Bellin and Darrell Ashmore doing an excellent job. Right here, you see another guy. On the right, you see Jackie Slater, Dan Radakovich, the coach. Slater, a guy that's getting close to being back in there, is an active player at right tackle.
The pitch back to Leonard Russell. Oh, he has been head on by Brett Maxey. Yes, Jackie Slater on the physically unable to perform list. He will be allowed to resume practicing week 6. And when he does get into a game, that will make it 20 seasons with one club, which would be an all-time record. 20 years with one team. He's played 258 games. 9th on the list is Blair Bush, who spent last season with the Rams, who is now an assistant coach on the Carolina side.
Last night I was talking to Jackie Slater, and he's excited. The arm's feeling good. He's ready to get back into it. I said, you were just amazing. I mean, I played 13 years, and I think about another 7 or 8 years, and it just hurts my body thinking about it.
Miller squeezed it out. The pass deflected by Mike Fox. Jackie Slater this season spending some time in the broadcast booth doing color on high school games in St. Louis.
Well, last year I did a couple of his football games, and we talked about it. He said that broadcasting was something that he wanted to get into, and the last 3 weeks he's been doing high school games there in St. Louis. Talked to him last night, and he said, well, the first week was a little shaky because I wasn't that familiar with the teams. Now I'm getting to do the same teams over and over, and I feel a lot more comfortable. And he was asking some questions. There you see Blair Bush, who's not real excited about what's happening in this game. Had a chance to play 3-4 years with Blair Bush early in my career as we played in Super Bowl 16 together.
The Rams have called timeout, so we will step out with 8:43 to go in the 4th quarter. Back in Clemson, Anthony, it's amazing what our Fox crew can do in the days leading up to the game. Here at the campus of Clemson University.
Painted in the sidewalk there. I mean, they just do a tremendous job. They had it at the restaurant and the food. There's a combat their moves, but the whole game, I just
in Clemson. We showed you Howard's Rock earlier, named after longtime Clemson University head coach Frank Howard. 60,000 plus at Memorial Stadium. The first ever Carolina Panthers home game on 3rd down and 9. Miller, Isaac Bruce, first down Rams. Miller faked the handoff and then went to his favorite receiver. 12 more yards for Isaac Bruce. His 5th reception, and he is 1 yard shy of 100.
The Rams are not pulling it in and being conservative right here. Nice little fake by Chris Miller. Isaac Bruce gives a little shove to the end man on the line of scrimmage and comes out quickly. And all of a sudden, Chris Miller just pops it up and hits it. He's like, I think what he wants there, he's signaling in, maybe cut it inside. He had a blocker, and maybe he could have got a touchdown. He wasn't satisfied with just a first down.
Jerome Bettis pulled down by Bubba McDowell. Under 8 minutes to go this fourth quarter. A loss of 2 for Bettis. Frustrating day for the Carolina Panthers. 6 turnovers. And they trail 24-3.
Well, it's one thing to go out on the football field, play a tough, physical football game as you see the rushing yards, and know that you got beat physically, you got beat by a team that just outplays you. But today, all the turnovers for the Panthers team, a big part of their losing 24-3 right now.
Miller dumps it off. The tight end, Jim Price, his first reception this season. He was hit by Darian Connor. Price spent the first 2 years of his career with the LA Rams, the last 2 in Dallas, and now he's back with the Rams.
And they're pretty much loaded at that tight end H-back position. They have Troy Drayton, who is an outstanding young receiver, blocking tight end, Jim Price. They got Pat Carter back. They got Marv Cook at the H-back, but still he can catch the ball like a tight end. At one position, they're very strong at offensively.
And it's been a strong all-around game for the Rams. Now 3rd and 13. The pass is complete. Jesse Hester close to the first down. Gain of 11. Looks to be just short.
Mentioned earlier, a lot of times teams with a big lead like this, you see them right here. Jesse Hester, teams might start running the football, try to run the clock down, but they continue to pass the football. He just takes it up, sits in the seam, gets the ball, and turns it upfield.
The Rams will not go for it on 4th and 2, so they send out Steve McLaughlin.
The field goal, number 3.
32-yard attempt. McLaughlin hit from 34. The play clock running down. The kick by McLaughlin is no good. McLaughlin now 1 for 4. Anthony has the notice been posted in St. Louis. Wanted field goal kicker.
You see right here, you look at the process. The snap is an excellent snap, no question about it. The hold is put down, the ball's there, and it's Steve McLaughlin just missing the field goal. That's a great question. All of a sudden, you see Brooks' reaction, not only the first time today.
McLaughlin 1 for 4. Rookie Kerry Collins in at quarterback for the Panthers, and he's picked off by Torrin Dorn. Touchdown, St. Louis.
Not a good way to come in when the fans are chanting your name. They want you at the quarterback position. He goes back, and, I mean, nice protection. The offensive line picks up the stunt. The receiver is turning it to the outside, and Collins throws the ball short. Torrin Dorn takes it in for 6. There had to be a mix-up. There had to be a mix-up here. Torrin Dorn with his 2nd career touchdown. There had to be a mix-up. The receiver was turning it out. The ball was thrown short.
The extra point is good. Torrin Dorn returning to the Carolinas. He attended North Carolina, and he scores the touchdown. Today's game is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the expressed written consent of the Carolina Panthers and the National Football League is prohibited. Well, Kerry Collins' first pass attempt at home is picked off, and Torrin Dorn runs it back for the touchdown. Collins did attempt 2 passes last week in Buffalo. He was 0 for 2. 7 Panthers turnovers. The Rams lead is now 31-3. Short kickoff by McLaughlin. This is Baldwin. A 12-yard return by Randy Baldwin. At the end of this game, Anthony and I will select the Miller Lite player of the game. Terrific all-around effort by the St. Louis Rams, led by their defense. 7 turnovers by the Panthers. The Rams now a +12. They have not turned the ball over this season as Panthers owner Jerry Richardson looks on. Kerry Collins back in at quarterback. Vince Workman all the way up to the 38-yard line. 14-yard gain. Next week, most of you will see a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader when the Bears battle the Rams and the Cardinals take on the Cowboys, plus other exciting regional action. It all begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. And that is Kerry Collins' first NFL completion to Vince Workman. Anthony Rams coach Rich Brooks knows a thing or two about Kerry Collins. Collins and the Penn State Nittany Lions defeated Rich Brooks at the University of Oregon 38-20 in this past January's Rose Bowl. Collins scrambling away from far. He has the first down, runs out of bounds at the 48.
If nothing else, this is a good opportunity for Kerry Collins to get in there. Sure, he threw his first pass for a pick, for a touchdown. Now he gets an opportunity to pretty much, they've been going to line of scrimmage, running this hurry-up offense because they are down by 4 touchdowns. Gives him a chance to get in there and just kind of calm down a little bit, get some experience of playing. Not the best of circumstances to be in there as a rookie, but he can get in there with the first-line guys and get some experience, and hopefully that'll help him down the road.
First down from the 49. Collins to Workman again. The Panthers off next week. They host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2 weeks from today. If you were Coach Dom Capers, who starts your quarterback?
Well, I'd have, if you put that much money into a kid like Kerry Collins, I'd say with the way things are going now, I'd say you have to start him and give him a chance.
And the Panthers' opponents, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, similar situation last year with Trent Dilfer.
That's right. And you see right there, Jay Williams, number 96, coming in and putting a hit on Kerry Collins. To get back to the point about Kerry Collins as quarterback, you know, they paid the kid a lot of money. They got to see what he can do.
6 years, $21 million contract. 5th overall pick. 1 pick before the Rams selected Kevin Carter.
And a lot of times you hear the coaches say, well, we want him to learn a little bit. We want to, you know, kind of bring him along slowly. But, man, you know, sooner or later, he's got to get in there and do it.
And the Buccaneers, following last season, dealt Craig Erickson to Indianapolis. So in Trent Dilfer's second year, he is the starting quarterback. First down on the Rams 41. Collins hands it off to Workman. Workman knows a thing or two about the quarterback situation in Tampa Bay. He was a Buccaneer last year, where he spent a good portion of time working with Trent Dilfer in practice.
Last year, after coming down from the Green Bay Packers, they signed him down at Tampa Bay trying to solve their running problem. Of course, now they have Eric Rett. Doing a tremendous job.
Workman across the 20, down to the 18-yard line.
Getting back to earlier when I talked about talking to Vince Workman before the game and how he was ready to get involved in the offense, and you know, he talked mainly third down situations, but right here is a super opportunity, and he's been getting a lot of work as he comes off the field to get a little break, catch his breath.
Collins on second and short. The Panthers have the first down. Willie Green, another former Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
You talk about, you know, we've been talking about the quarterback situation. Kerry Collins, 6'5", 240 pounds. If you look at Frank Reich, who is calling the plays with the walkie-talkie, the headset on.
Collins to Bushton. Gerald McMurray made the stop. 3 minutes to go. And the fans who have remained here in Clemson enjoying the work of Kerry Collins.
A lot of empty seats as you look across the stadium. But he's doing a nice job. He's bounced back nicely from throwing that interception on his first pass, directing a nice drive here.
5 straight completions. Bob Christian down to the 5.
44, Bob Christian.
So following the interception, Collins has completed his next 5 pass attempts.
Right here, he bobbles the pass a little bit. I think it might have been like a batter that's up there against a fastball pitcher, and he gets a change, and he kind of is out in front of the ball right there. Collins threw the ball a little slower than he usually does, and Collins had a little trouble catching him, but does make the catch.
Vince Workman down to the 1. We approach the 2-minute warning. When we return, it will be 1st and goal for the Carolina Panthers on the 1-yard line. Kenny Albert, Anthony Munoz in Clemson, where the Panthers trailed 31-3, yet they have put together an impressive drive late in this 4th quarter. 10 plays, 75 yards, their longest drive of the afternoon. They've spread it out, 5 passes, 5 runs. Collins 5 of 5 on this drive. Panthers have not scored a rushing touchdown this season, and they have not scored a touchdown in over 8 quarters. Christian in motion. Collins takes it himself. And the signal is touchdown. So the number 1 draft pick, Kerry Collins, with the first ever rushing touchdown in Carolina Panthers history.
And why not? You have a 6'5", 240-pound quarterback back there. Just let the offensive line fire off the football as they do here. You see number 98, Jimmy Jones, moving backwards. You see that blue wave moving backwards a little bit. Just let the big quarterback go into the end zone as he did. Carries off the football, as you see right there. Hands it to usually the equipment manager, and they put a piece of tape around it saying, Kerry Collins, touchdown, or something like that.
And the point after by Casey, straight through. So the Rams now lead the Panthers 31-10. And Anthony behind the goalpost. Of course, that hill with Howard's Rock, unusual in the NFL. No net. Casey kicked the point after, and the ball sailed all the way up towards the scoreboard, and a mad scramble ensued for the football.
Plus you have, at least at the beginning game, there's 200-300 people sitting up there, maybe more. Of course, a lot of them have left early in the game. That creates quite a problem with no net there.
And, of course, last Monday in Chicago, the ball sailed over the net following a Kevin Butler extra point, and a fan jumped about 20 feet down into the runway, caught the ball, and he was not hurt. So Kerry Collins leads the drive, 11 plays. He completes all 5 pass attempts and scores on the 1-yard run.
Getting back, did the Bears check him out to see maybe if he had, some speed, maybe hire him as a wide receiver? Catching the ball, holding on, hitting the ground.
A local reporter checked things out with the gentleman's college coach. Turns out he was a linebacker, and a pretty good one in high school and college.
Okay, I see.
Now the Panthers set up with 8 players on the right side of kicker John Casey. The onside kick upcoming. Anthony Parker falls on it. Penalty flags as well.
Anthony Parker doing a nice job coming up with that ball. That was, usually you get the high bounces, but that was a line drive almost along the ground, and he caught it.
Anthony, out of the corner of my eye, following the recovery by Parker, I caught Derek Moore of the Panthers and Isaac Bruce of the Rams hugging each other.
Offsides on the receiving team. 5 yards, number 87, and re-kick.
Derek Moore and Isaac Bruce are first cousins. Isaac's dad and Derek's mom are brother and sister. They met for the first time last year, and they just embraced on the field.
Oh, we talked to Isaac Bruce and said he hadn't talked to him yet this week. You know, with the move and everything, hadn't gotten a phone number for Derek. But That's amazing to go this long and then finally meet a first cousin that's also playing in the NFL like you are.
Casey will kick it once more, this time from the 35. And we'll keep our eyes on Moore and Bruce again. Parker. Well, Parker does it again, 2 in a row. And Bruce and Moore make it 2 hugs in a row.
That's a little pat around the shoulder and a little pat. That's nice. That's nice to see. After the fact, I mean, you wouldn't want to see that during the game when they're fighting each other. I'm sure there's still a couple minutes left in the football game. It's well out of reach.
The St. Louis Rams will make it 3-0. Mark Rippon in at quarterback. In relief of Chris Miller. Jerome Bettis upended by Paul Butcher, a former Los Angeles Ram. So Mark Rippon, the quarterback, his first action with St. Louis. Spent 7 years with the Washington Redskins, most valuable player of Super Bowl 26. Last season with the Cleveland Browns, and the Panthers have called timeout. So Mark Rippon over to chat with head coach Rich Brooks. Anthony, we spoke earlier about the Panthers' new stadium, which will open next year in Charlotte.
Right here.
Many of the players live in Charlotte this year.
Stadium. Their training camp right now is Rock Hill, South Carolina, with the border right here. And all of a sudden, to come down and play their games, they take a little trip. I don't know if that's the way they come down, but they might see Simpsonville there. All of a sudden, they're right here in Clemson playing their home games this week.
About a 2.5-hour bus ride every Saturday for the Carolina Panthers from the Charlotte area. They train in Rock Hill, South Carolina, down to Clemson. In fact, many of the Panthers return home following their Week 1 loss in Atlanta earlier than they will today.
And we got to experience that trip firsthand, jumping in the car ourselves, having flown into Charlotte and down to Rock Hill and then down here on Friday night.
The penalty called on the Rams. So they are pushed back to their own 47-yard line. The rookie Johnny Thomas in motion. Rippon hands it off. Bettis. Bettis up the middle for 2 yards. He now has 67 on 19 carries. Anthony, our Miller Lite player of the game, the entire Rams defense.
It was hard to just pick one player. Shane Collin, Roman Pfeiffer, Sean Gilbert, DeMarco Farr. We just went with the whole defense. They all played a great game today. Right there you see Roman Pfeiffer with the shoulder pads off.
Pfeiffer in on 11 tackles, 1 interception. They forced 7 Panther turnovers, 5 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries. On the offensive side, Chris Miller, 15 of 26, 225 yards. Big day for Isaac Bruce. 5 receptions, 99 yards. Jerome Bettis, 67 yards on the ground. Fans must be going wild in St. Louis, as the Rams will make it 3-0.
A little confusion on the field. First time Kitchen comes in motion. Rippon tells him to get back. And it's J.T. Thomas coming this way. He says stop there. Finally, they snap the ball and complete it to Jerome Bettis, who's down. Looks like he might be a little banged up there. Gets up slowly.
And the Panthers call their final timeout, as the St. Louis Rams will make it 3-0, their best start since 1989. Also their first 3-game winning streak since 1989.
And now we see a smile on Coach Rich Brooks' face. Something that during the game, although they were winning, we didn't see a whole lot of. You think it might be the 3rd week in a row that he gets a Gatorade bath? You think maybe he's smiling, thinking, when is it going to come? When is it going to come? Might need a snorkel along with those glasses.
Well, the first week, Brooks was doused with Gatorade. Sean Landeta, the punter who was standing next to Brooks, just kept on talking as if nothing happened.
32, get level.
And there is Landeta out to punt. Eric Gulliford, who has had a busy day, down the right sideline. So the Panther fans here in Clemson will get one more look at Kerry Collins and the Panthers offense with 1 minute 22 seconds remaining.
One of the things you have to look at this Rams football team. They start out 3-0, and they have the youngest team with an average of 25.4 in the NFL.
Rich Brooks will become the 20th coach in NFL history to win his first 3 games. The last to do it, Bill Cowher of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Collins now 6 of 7. Vince Workman taken out of bounds by Thomas Holmco.
Collins pass complete to number 34, Vince Workman.
Vince Workman with 8 receptions this afternoon. 3 coming here in the fourth quarter. 1 minute 14 seconds remaining. Both Workman and Derek Moore signed just 2 weeks ago. They have not yet learned the entire playbook, but Workman seeing lots of action here today. Workman again across the 45-yard line.
Toby Wright, number 32, coming up and putting a big hit on Eric Gulliford. As he gets up slowly, he's kind of wobbling a little bit. As he runs back to the line of scrimmage to get in position.
5th reception of the day for Gulliford. Under 1 minute remaining. As Collins looks downfield. Good coverage on the play by the combination of Toby Wright and Keith Lyle. 44 seconds remaining. Rich Brooks still awaiting the possible Gatorade shower.
He's looking around. He's saying, okay, who's around me? Who's going to do it? Right there you see Roman Pfeiffer laughing, saying, hey, Coach, you better watch the game. It's still going on.
Well, when does it end? I can understand the first NFL victory, first home victory.
I don't know. Hopefully they hope it continues. Every win. They do it a lot.
Collins with time lobs one downfield, and it is incomplete, intended for Eric Gulliford.
Almost the same exact place on the field as the previous play. Then Gulliford gets back to the huddle and says, hey, Kerry, I think we can complete one. Let's try it again in that same area. And they just about did with the diving try by number 84, Eric Gulliford.
Still no Gatorade in sight.
I figured if he paces up and down, it'd be hard to hit a moving target.
Some of the players may have to hold him in one place. On the drop play, this is Workman. Workman met by Torin Dorn. 30 seconds to go.
And here we have a coach who cannot be too happy about the outcome of this football game, especially with all the turnovers.
This could be the final play. Incomplete. Good coverage by Gerald McBurrows. And there's Landeta standing next to Brooks.
Maybe he's the decoy. You mentioned it before. He just stood there talking to him. Maybe he's the assigned decoy of the team.
Brooks may feel that he's safe standing next to Landeta, who had the flu all week.
And now he takes and walks away from Landeta. Maybe he's telling him, hey, a couple extra sprints if you guys do it again on Monday, tomorrow.
Nobody standing near Rich Brooks.
Do you blame him?
Our cameraman is the closest. First down for the Rams, as the Panthers were not able to get the first down, and that will do it. So Rich Brooks escapes the Gatorade shower as the St. Louis Rams make it 3-0 with their 31-10 victory over the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers now 0-3 in their inaugural season. They will be off next week, and then Carolina will host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2 weeks from today. But what a start for the St. Louis Rams. They forced 7 Panther turnovers.
Well, good and bad for the Panthers with the week off. Good, they can go back, review things, work on a lot of things that they have to do better their next game after the bye week. The bad thing about it is they have to think about this game for 2 weeks. And the Rams are just playing amazingly on defense, and their offense is doing enough to score points and not make any turnovers themselves and not to hurt their football team.
The Panthers used 3 quarterbacks. Wright, Trudeau, and Collins threw 5 interceptions, 2 defensive touchdowns. For the Rams, there are the first cousins, Bruce and Moore. Rams over the Panthers, 31-10 for Anthony Munoz. This is Kenny Albert saying so long from Clemson Memorial Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina. Coming up, the postgame report with JB and Terry. Once again, Rams over the Panthers, 31-10. After these messages, we'll take you back to our Fox studios with JB and the gang. Once again, the final from Clemson. The Rams 31, the Panthers 10.